Hello.
Hello, hello.
Sausage, come on.
Noodle is
Oh dear.
Belly wraps, please.
Happy New Year. How are you guys?
Yeah, we are good. We are good.
Lazy bones, come on.
I'm not sure Noodle was up for this training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has prepared herself. Yeah.
Yeah, she's prepared also mentally and physically.
At least she got up onto the sofa, hey?
Oh,
Yeah, she can get on the sofa now. Nothing is safe.
Nothing's safe. Blimey. Okay. Just bear with me 1 second. I just need to plug my laptop in just so that my battery doesn't die. Give me 1 second.
sure.
Give me a treat to wake her up. Noodle, pick up. You lazy bones dog. Definitely your favorite.
There we go. So tell me, how are you guys? How have you been?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, we had a good Christmas. Well,
Yeah.
quiet, nice and relaxed, but yeah, we had some time off, so it was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Good stuff. And how's little Noodle been?
Well, she has so much fun. She's been on a play dates with Wolfie. Wolfie's coming down a little bit as he's growing older. His hair was barging into him and biting his ears and stealing his sticks. It was so funny. He's now bigger than Hair, but she doesn't mind. She just runs into him and headbutts him and get his stick.
She's like, I'll get there first.
Yeah, and then accidentally we met another one of our friends who is 2-year-old big boy Dachshund Pluto. And I was worried what he's going to do with Wolfie because they're two boys and they were playing nicely, chasing each other in the park. So we had a good fun. Good fun, innit, Noodle?
Good stuff. And how's your training been going?
Do you know what? She's walking much better and she's walking like a machine if you have a trolley.
Yes.
Shopping trolley, little bag on wheels, she goes and she would walk a 5K without stopping.
And she is not normally not biting the trolley or whatever. It's just when you have a trolley or one of us has a trolley in one hand,
Follows it.
she just follows or walks next to it, or I don't know what it is, but that seems to be for her the pacemaker or the...
There you go. That's it. You always have to have a trolley with you now.
Yeah, we tried that, yes.
We walked to the office to pick up some stuff before Christmas, and it was from city all the way home. It's good 3K. She has not stopped once, and she was going, and she didn't want to go inside or be carried or anything. She was very happy.
Good stuff. That sounds fantastic. That's certainly.
What is the trigger? If it's the wheels or the trolley or something, but that seems to be doing the trick.
Maybe she feels more secure with it. Who knows? There's definitely a new one on me.
Yeah.
Oh.
I sort of noticed it once when we went shopping and she was following it. So we tried it a few more times, and every time I have the trolley, she goes like, "Let's go tomorrow."
There you go then. That's your key.
Take a trolley.
You just have to take a trolley with you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure people will when I next suggest that to some clients. Say, yeah, your dog doesn't want, just take a trolley with you, they'll be fine.
Maybe she associated with like when we went to the seaside in August, then we had a trolley. And she remembers, oh, I went some funny places and it was good. Come on, wake up, you lazy bones. And sort of she associated with some fun. I don't know.
It may well be, maybe that she's got some positive association with it, and with walking, she just, I don't know. It's good though. That's definitely like good in terms of like thinking in the long run with her PRA and stuff. If she's got a trolley that she knows is there, then that's certainly something you could consider, because then at least she's going on the sound, not the sight.
So yeah, that was good. And we did, I mean, the middle, she does it inside. She's done it a few times outside. Leave it. I mean, she's much better in outside as well. If I see it before she got it in her mouth, she usually leaves it. If it's a chicken bone and she's got it in her mouth, it's anybody's guess. But
okay,
usually the chicken bones are quite small and she's quicker than me.
Okay.
What else we did? We did the drop it. She drops things, but she doesn't want anything else in return. She picks it up again. She doesn't like to swap. Once I've got something, I don't want to swap.
Okay. And have you managed to practice any of the drop it outside?
I've
No,
tried it once outside with a toy with a ball or whatever. She does drop things, but then she drops it and then she picks it up again. She
Okay.
doesn't wait for anything. But when you say drop it, she
does
does drop things.
Okay.
And she's done absolutely fantastic walking around the obstacle course, but unfortunately, Kush forgot to film it. We were in the office and she's got such a zoomies because she ran around the whole office because it was such a big space. And then we did a few times around some boxes of chocolate on the floor and she was so good. But Kush
Yeah,
forgot
the
to film it.
cameraman failed there, but
The
never
cameraman
mind.
Oh,
failed.
what? The cameraman failed? Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
he
you were
was
going to say you.
taking pictures.
I thought you were going to say you forgot to send it over to me. I was going to say send it over.
Forgot to film it. Just
Fantastic.
sending the pictures rather than the video. So I was a bit upset, but hey.
Okay, so she's done it. She's been practicing the walking around boxes and stuff. What about the tissues? Is she managing to leave any tissues yet?
The tissues is probably the biggest temptation.
Okay.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And first time she leaves it, and when you let your guard down, she will be there.
Straight
I
in.
think she's really good with leave it. Like we can leave a pot full of treats
on
the floor and say leave it, and she won't go near it. She will wait till she gets one, which is absolutely great. But some things are just too much of a temptation, and
Yep.
tissues are in that category.
And it's working up, isn't it? It's working up to actually tissue level, and that's why it's always good to have different variations and making them a little bit easier, a little bit harder, so that it may be that you get a tissue and you just say leave it, and then she gets a reward, and just keep practicing. Like the more you practice with her, the more that she'll kind of get it and she'll switch on with it. Did you have any areas that you wanted to cover today?
Well, I thought a bit about a few things, and you know, I think the walking was the worst one, and although she is far from perfect, that's really coming along nicely, and I think it's just a matter of her getting older and more practice, and she walks better without treats. But one of the things we seem to struggle with more lately is food. You know, she really doesn't want to. She doesn't want to eat is nonsense, because she eats eventually every day, but she is very picky about what she eats, and I don't know how long or how consistent we need to be with stuff that she doesn't really want to eat.
Okay.
So in the end, we have tried quite a few different foods. She used to have butternut box, which when we first had it, she loved it, and then slowly but surely she likes less and less of the varieties, and then there were two left, lamb and beef, and now she doesn't even get enthusiastic about those anymore.
Okay.
And we tried some kibble, and again, when it came the first day or two, she was, yeah, great, love it, and then not really. So,
Okay.
I'm feeding her because she won't eat. I mean, this dog.
When you hand feed her, that works not always, but
always.
seems to work better than putting it in a bowl or a plate.
Okay.
Sometimes she eats it from a comb, but sometimes she just looks at it and no thanks. I mean, she's not skinny dog, so she's certainly not like underweight.
She's eating enough.
She's eating enough, but I mean, it's just that I've never seen a dog being like this, like I don't want food.
And you'd be surprised that I do actually see quite a few that they're just not bothered about eating, and sometimes it's that element of, so if you've just got something there all the time, so if she doesn't have to work for her food, then what's the point? She knows it's there. She doesn't need to go and find it. She doesn't need to go and do anything. Her food's just put on the floor and that's it. So it kind of devalues the food. So, you know, I went for a similar stage with Chip when she was a lot younger. I mean, she's 4 now. So we're talking probably over 3 years ago. And we realized that actually the hand feeding was the way forward, because you can then incorporate your training with the hand feeding, which is just her food. So she's not getting any special rewards for training. She's just getting her food. And even if that's like messy food, so even if it's like wet food, you can still use like a little spoon with a little bowl and a little spoon. So she just has the spoon. So a bit like your selfie stick.
Yeah.
A tool to actually give it to her without putting your hands in like wet food. And actually she's not going to put on any extra weight. So it may be that actually spending 5 or 10 minutes first thing in the morning, because she does have wet food, doesn't she? Yeah. So obviously, I mean, the only other thing
now and then she would eat the kibble now and then. Sometimes she just fancies it.
Sometimes if we go out, let's say we go on the underground, if you go on the tube, then usually I take something to eat with me, so just to keep her sweet when she's on the tube. And then she eats anything you give her, any kind of kibble, any kind of treat, or anything is good in that situation. If you give her the exact same food when she is at home, you get the nose treatment, she pushes you away with her nose like, what do you think I'm eating that?
And it may just be that then. It may just be that actually the bowl, and there's a lot of research that's gone into this as well. So the dogs like always have had 2 bowls, a water bowl and a food bowl. But over time, that food bowl becomes so devalued because it's just food, or it's very protected, it's very guarded. So some dogs will like not be interested in it, and other dogs are like, leave my food alone, don't come anywhere near my food. But then there's obviously the dogs in the middle. So there's the dogs that see the food being prepared, that are like, oh yeah, is that my dinner? Is that my dinner? Is that my dinner? And then it goes onto the floor, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, she is usually quite enthusiastic, but then when you put it in front of her, she gives it a quick sniff, sometimes one mouthful, and then she thinks, no, thanks. Wasn't what I expected.
What does she have to do to get her dinner? So you go in the kitchen, you prepare it. What do you ask Noodle to do?
Sometimes when she actually is interested, I ask her to sit and then, tease her a bit before I put it on the floor. But other days, she's not even interested to get close to the plate of food she has. She just stays where she is, and she's not bothered about it, whether it comes or not. Is not interesting.
Okay. So what you could look at doing, and it's a little bit of a strange one, is having like different areas. So if you're using it for treats as well, so preparing her food, letting her see you prepare the food, and then just walk away from it. So leave it on the side, don't give it to her. Walk away, and then see if she comes as if to say, oh, is that my dinner? Is that what's happened here? You've not given me my dinner. And do that, but actually only give her a tiny little bit. So it's literally, if you think, say if she has a handful of food, I'll use kibble just because it's easier to explain. So you just give her 1 piece of kibble, give her that in the bowl, and then she'll be like,
yeah, I know. Maybe,
where's my food? And then you can start engaging her as if to go, oh, you want some more food, do you? And then you can start adding a little bit more in. So you can just literally, so that handful of kibble, you would then just put 1 more piece in and put it down. So she kind of you've made a game out of it for her. So you've made it a little bit more interesting for her. So it may be that you ask her to sit and wait and then release her to get her dinner. So there's a little bit of anticipation being built there with her. So each time she does it, or the alternate things that you can do are having 2 bowls in, so you can do it in your living room, you do it in the kitchen, whichever. And just if you've got her food in a whatever container it's already in, and then you can just put a little spoonful in 1 bowl, and then quickly you move to the other bowl and then put some more food in the other bowl and keep swapping between the 2. Does that make sense? So you're making it quite exciting for her. So she's like, oh, there's something, what is this? And it may be that you actually have some chicken or something in your pocket, and then just drop the tiniest little bit into her bowl. So that keeps her eating the food, so that there's then something else there for her. And then the other one that you could do is have like little pots. So I can't think what the word is. Like Tupperware boxes, like plastic sandwich boxes, like the lids. So you could have the lids and then just put a little bit on the lid and then just leave that out in the kitchen in different places. So she's sniffing to find her food. And what you will find is that even if her food is very clear and she can see it, she might start using her nose to actually find it. So it will be right in front of her, but she'll be sniffing and go over here and over here and over here, and it's actually right in front of her, just to give her something, a different way of doing it, a different way of experiencing her dinner time. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
I mean, that's 3 ways. So that, yeah, I think the one where you just put a little bit in the bowl, I think that would probably work for her to start with, because I think you guys would find that quite funny, and in turn she'd be like, what's going off here?
Yeah, I can imagine that, because
Yeah.
we've sometimes tried to give her a little bit, and that seems actually to work better when you give her a small portion than a full dinner bowl or something.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we pretended to eat her food, and that seems to work as well.
But
Yeah.
not every day. She's very clever. She knows we don't eat it. So it works once, and the next day she's like, I'm not playing your game.
I know what it was.
Like the treat on my hand, and I say, leave it. She would do it twice, and third time she doesn't even bother to sniff the hand, because she knows you're just gonna tell me to leave it. I'm not playing.
It's because she's switched on. That's why she's a clever one.
She's very clever.
But yeah, I mean, the other ways you can give her food. So a lick mat. Have you heard of a lick mat?
Yeah, we've got one. She sometimes she loves yogurt. She loves dairy anyway. Cream cheese yogurt. So I give her Greek yogurt on the licky mat. I used to freeze it, but then she figured it out. It's hard work to actually lick the frozen yogurt, so she waits until it defrosts.
Why put so much effort in when you can just wait?
It's the same with the sniffling mat. She turned it upside down and ate it.
I remember you saying that, yeah. But with the lick mat, you could feed her from the lick mat, so you could use that. So rather than the yogurt, you could use her actual food on there, and that way you're not introducing loads of extras into her diet as well. You're using her own allowance per day to actually just give her food in a different way. And if you're using kibble, if you've got any kibble that you're using for her, I mean, kibble's fantastic, because you can just throw a piece of kibble out and then get her to come back to you. You can obviously do the middle and things like that with kibble. Depending
that
on
might not be enough for her to do middle kibble.
I know she
needs to be something.
She eats it in emergency or when she's on the tube, but in normal daily life she expects better.
Yeah, and sometimes it's about meeting that currency need. So if that currency needs to be higher, then that's what we do. But a hungry dog, so a dog that hasn't had their breakfast, will always work a lot easier than a dog that's got a full tummy. So if you think about when you have, I don't know, a Sunday dinner, if you have a Sunday dinner, and then try and go out for a walk afterwards, and you're like, and sometimes that can be what's happening with our dogs, that they're eating and stuffing themselves, and then they just can't be bothered to do anything else.
Yeah,
it's true, because now she walks better. She doesn't get so many treats on walk. So I think perhaps we haven't realized, because I cook her, I make my rod for my own bite, because I start cooking her poached chicken and poached fish, and she would only eat those. So I try to cut it in a very small pieces, but they're not that easily to cut them in a minuscule pieces. So maybe she was getting enough of chicken from her treats, and
yeah, and that is another explanation as well. So it may be that her actual meal time, her actual meal is cut down in size to accommodate for the other treats that she's having on top. That's always worth doing.
The stuff that you had on Facebook, that feeding thing, I bought it, so we'll see if she's gonna like it.
Oh, did you go for it?
It hasn't arrived yet, but
okay.
We'll see if she likes it. I'll give it a try. I mean, it's difficult to put wet stuff in there, I guess, but
yeah, you might struggle with the wet stuff, but you can always try. You can try with a little bit. It's quite a difficult one. I think it's like a level 2, or it might even be a level 3. But it like slides, the top bits like slide out, and they can either do it with their paw and hook it out, or they can pick it with their mouth and take it out with their mouth. And what I would look at doing is, when you do get it around the bottom, there's some they look like Kongs, but they're just like hard plastic. They come out, and underneath there you can put a treat in. So I would start with having nothing on it, so none of the pull-outs, and just put a treat in the bits where the Kong bits go into. I'd put a treat in each of those, and I would put a treat in the bottom of it, so where it would ordinarily drop out to, so that she gets the idea of, oh yeah, this is all right, it's not scary, and then slowly start putting the bits in. So basically go backwards what you want it to do,
Right.
and then just put one shelf in, then two shelves, then three shelves, because if you start it too hard, she'll get frustrated and she'll just knock it all over the place, I'm sure.
She's quite afraid of mechanical food things. We have one of those cameras which can dispose treats.
Yeah.
As
It
soon
makes
as the thing
noise.
makes a noise, she is miles away. She's not interested, and she actually avoids the corner of the room where that camera is, because
Yeah.
that's a scary thing.
It's a scary thing.
And then we bought one of those toys that wobble, and when it wobbles, it dispenses food as well. But she doesn't like mechanical food dispensing. She prefers hands to,
Yeah,
you
she
know,
prefers to be hand-fed.
humans rather than machines giving her the food.
Princess.
And a lot of the time, some of it is because she, like, it may be that we're expecting her to know exactly what it is that this thing gives you treats. But a lot of the time it's because we need to actually show them exactly what it does and make it. Remember when we talked about like what gets rewards gets repeated. So the more that we do something, the more that they'll want to do. And it's the same with new toys and things, unless it's a very obvious toy like a ball or a chew toy or a snuffle mat to some degree, then they need to really be shown right back at the basics what it is, what it does. And I know that those camera treat ones, they make that like a kind of whirring noise, don't they?
Yeah.
As they move.
Really noise, yeah.
I know, but I in the beginning I tried. I've given up now. But put some treats in front of it, and then treats in the little box where they then are thrown out. But she would walk almost up to the camera, but she never really made it up to the camera. That was just too scary.
And it may be that if you were to revisit with her, and that now because she's that little bit older, she might be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll give it a try. I give it a go. Okay, so do we think Noodle's going to wake up for us today, or is she going to?
Possibly.
But
also the other thing I wanted to ask you was about what do we do, or how do we start to leave her alone? Because that's obviously another area which, well, as long as we're both home, is not urgent, but there will come a time where it would be handy if we could at least leave her for a little bit so we could pop out to do some shopping or whatever.
Okay, and tell me what happens at the minute. Have you ever left her alone? Has she ever been on her own?
I left her about a minute when I went down with the bin, but she was, at that time, she was younger and she was kind of lying on the sofa quite happily. I don't think she would do that now. I don't know. Because when I leave, when we are outside and I go to the shop, she is like, wah! Even when she's with you, she screams.
No.
Well.
Most of the time she doesn't.
Okay.
Most of the time, it depends. If she, some days she is, but so often when Veronica goes out and I'm with her, she usually goes to sleep because she thinks I'm boring.
When you're outside and one of us
Oh,
goes
but that's
to the
not
shop.
at home. I'm talking
Okay.
about it.
Right.
If you're outside, if you're going for a walk and one of us goes into a shop, then she gets very panicky because we went out together and then one of us is disappearing.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if we are at home and one of us goes out,
then
she's fine with it.
Okay, so sorry, let me just get this right then. So she's fine if you leave her in the house, and she's fine if you leave her at home, but when you're out together and one of you leaves to go into a shop, that's when she gets upset.
No.
No?
In the house, she's fine if one of us leaves, but if both of us, that hasn't happened.
Okay.
Or that has only happened for like a minute or so, bringing the bins out or whatever. And I've tried it, but that was quite a few months ago. When I was on my own at home, I went out, I closed the door, stayed away for about a minute, and then she was sitting in front of the door crying.
Okay.
But I haven't tried it for
at
least for the last 2 months or so. So it's more sort of having an idea of how to get started with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, just remind me how old Noodle is.
8 months.
8 months. Okay. And then, sorry, so we've got so if both of you leave from the house, and then if one of you leaves when you're outside, that's when she gets upset as well. So if one of you's got the lead and the other one walks off, then that's when she gets a bit upset.
Okay. Yeah, let's say we go to the supermarket and one of us goes in the supermarket, you can't bring your dog. I wait outside with it. But if Veronica goes in the supermarket, then she is crying her eyes out.
She does that with you as well. When you leave, then she looks out every man. Mary's my dad. Poor sausage.
Okay. And so we'll address the outside bit first and then go for the inside bit. So the outside bit, when you actually leave her and go into the shop, do you ever say, wait there, I'll be back in a minute, or do you just go?
I think just go.
Just go.
Okay, that may be why then, because she's got no idea. She's got no idea what's happening. She's just seeing that you're walking off and you've left her behind. So it may be worth just having something really nice just to say, Noodle, wait, I'll be back, and then go and do what you're doing and then come back. So to start with, it's not gonna happen to start with. So try not to do it straight away when you're going into a shop, like literally just practice. So it may be that you hang around and one of you walks a few steps away and you just say to her, Noodle, wait. One of you walks away and then comes back to her. When you come back to her, don't make a massive fuss over her. Good girl, Noodle, well done. And then both of you carry on walking. So she gets used to actually a bit of distance in between you. So it doesn't have to be massive amounts of space. It can literally be like 10, 15 steps. Or if you've got any shops nearby, so near shops tend to be park benches. So benches, like a bench that you can sit on. It may be that you sit on the bench and then one of you gets up from the bench and walks towards the shop, doesn't go in it, and then comes back before she starts getting upset. So literally ask her to wait, Noodle, wait, walk a few steps away from her and then come back again. So what you're doing is you are reinforcing that every time you leave her, it's a good thing because you always return. She doesn't need to get upset because you're going to return to her. Okay, there is always going to be an element of when we leave our dogs, especially in that kind of situation when we're outdoors with them, that they may squeak a little bit, they may whine a little bit, but what we're looking to do is reduce that right down. Okay, so you know, if truth be told, then I'm quite sure that if I was to leave Chip and ask her to wait, she would wait for so long before she would then start squeaking. So it's about that, having an expectation. So have that nice low expectation that to start with, it'll be a few steps away and returning back to her. And it may just be you say, good girl, Noodle, well done. Don't make too much of a fuss over it. Otherwise, then she'll be trying to get more of a fuss before you then leave. And every step you take, she'll be trying to get you to come back to give her that fuss. So nice and almost like matter of fact about it. Noodle, be right back. Noodle, wait there, whatever it is that you want to use. And then walk a few steps away and come back to her. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, if you've got your trolley with you, she's going to want to hang around with the trolley anyway.
Well, that was the but if you go shopping and the trolley goes into the shop, that's the trouble, you know. I think we've done it once. We went to the supermarket with the trolley, and then somehow she was distracted, sniffing a tree,
there was another dog,
or another dog or whatever. So Veronica ran off with the trolley into the supermarket, and I was with Noodle. Carried her across the road, and then she was a little bit like, oh, help, where is my mom? But because then we started walking, and then she got over it a bit.
Yeah.
So there was no crying in that situation. But
Yeah.
if we both sort of, if there is no distraction, and she sees one of us just go off, then she gets really panicky.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying if we give her a clear boundary, so see you later, wait there, and then start moving away and coming back. And it may be that at that point when you start moving away, the other one just produces something really nice. It might be a nice toy out of your pocket, it might be a couple of treats out of your pocket, so that moving away really, actually, that's what unlocks, I don't know, the tissue out of your pocket, or you know, there's something nice that happens out of one of you moving away. Okay. In the house, so tell me about Noodle. Is she able to like sleep somewhere else? So where does she sleep?
Everywhere.
Wherever she feels like it.
On the sofa, in a crate, in the kitchen. So there's various places where she makes herself comfortable. And
will she take herself to them without the kind of you telling her to go there?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay.
She likes to lie on the sofa when we are nicely sitting, push on the sofa, and me on the table working and being quiet. Minute we're on a conference call, she gets and goes to the kitchen. And in the evening when we watch telly and she had enough, She would go to a crate and give us really dirty looks.
Okay, she's very switched on. You know, I had to wait for like 18 months before Chip would do this kind of stuff.
When she was really small, she would wanted to go to bed at 10. And if we weren't going to bed, she would go to the corridor, sit there like really grumpy, run to the bedroom, come back and sit there. No, you get in it. You need to go to the bedroom. I want to go to sleep. You need to be there as well.
Turning these lights off.
Yeah, the crate is in the bedroom, and she always sleeps in her crate. She's perfect. It's from a little dog.
Okay, she really
But she likes us, you know, when she goes to bed for the night, she likes us to be in bed as well. You know, everybody should be where they're supposed to be.
She likes us to sleep around too much, be in the same place where I am, and then I'm cool, and she could sleep all day. She is the laziest dog ever.
Okay, so if you guys get up and walk away from her now, what does she do?
Now she probably do nothing.
She probably stays there, you know.
But if she's awake,
it's different when we're both together. But when I'm on my own with her, she gets a bit bored with me because I tend to read a book or I'm working or whatever. And then either she falls asleep on the sofa or she goes to her crate and goes and sleeps there. And as long as I'm in the house, she's fine. I can go to the kitchen, start doing some cooking, and she stays in the crate and is quite happy with that.
Depends what you do. If you start doing like laundry and things like that, she gets too excited and she follows me around and nicks the socks and goes to the laundry and try to pull it out of the washing machine. But if I sit on the sofa, she will just sit next to me and goes to sleep.
Okay. And you know, when it comes to like playing games and like her kind of coming up for a cuddle, is that you like saying, Noodle, come here? Or is that Noodle coming to you and saying, I want to cuddle now?
When she wants.
She comes with her toys and there's no
barks.
question what she wants. She puts the toy in front of you, looks up at you, goes,
She doesn't bark. She only barks when she wants to play and you're too slow to sort of get it.
To sort it.
Okay. And if you don't like the one toy, she goes away and brings you another one.
Maybe you
she
like
is
the
quite
other one better.
tolerant there. So if you don't like it, you can try another one.
Okay, so I mean, Noodle's a pretty intelligent sausage. She's I don't think she's going to have too many issues being left. What I would look at, so I know last time we mentioned about the toy box. So did you manage to implement any stuff around the toy box about kind of minimizing toys or anything like that?
We reduced them a little bit.
I think we still need to reduce quite a few more. We sort of halved it, but there are still sort of 10 toys in there.
Okay. And is she playing more with any toys or not?
Yeah, she has sort of 3 or 4 favorites, I think.
Yeah, got her little, where's the something? This is her all-time favorite thing. It's so disgustingly dirty. But
yeah, we've got one of those as well.
Yeah. Then she's got what else she does? She likes the little balls, little tennis balls.
Okay.
Then this one recently, she chews this one quite a bit because it's like a silicone. And she can't really chew it to pieces, so she chews it with her back teeth, I think, when it's still hurting her. Look, Noodle. Hey, she chews it sort of here and the rope, and she uses the back teeth and also the little Congo bone, because she started to eating all the nyla bones and to bits, and she was eating it. So I was looking for something that she can't really destroy. This one is quite nice.
Okay. So chewing on things is really, really a natural behavior. So it's something that they enjoy doing. And dogs
if I hold it forever, like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to hold it.
Toy holder. That's what we're on the planet for.
Yeah.
Like this. And turn it around a bit on the other side.
So the reason I was asking those questions is because it will give me an insight as to how Noodle kind of perceives being on her own. If she can go to a different room, that's a really good thing to be doing. So what we'll do, we'll have a look at like both of you getting up. Have you both got shoes on?
No, but we can put them on.
What I would say is, so what we're going to do, we're literally just going to get you to put your shoes on. And is this device, so your camera that you can see me on, is that stable? Is that able to stay on its own, or are you holding it?
It's a phone, so I need to lean it against something, but I can do that. It shouldn't be too difficult.
Well,
there's your ceiling. You've turned it off. You turned your camera off.
Yeah, I think I'm back here. Is it back on?
Yes, you're back on. I can see you now.
Good. So let me see if I can lean that somewhere without throwing it on the floor. Yeah, I used to have a tripod, but
Oh, we used to have those little sticky
it's
stuff.
yeah, of course.
Where is it?
It's here, I think. There we go.
If you've got a book or something like that, you just lean against a book.
I've got a
Tripod.
you know, tripod thingy, selfie stick tripod.
Yeah, that's going to be eaten in a minute.
Selfie stick treat, a treat giver.
Oh, that's a different one. That's going to be eaten because she's quite like it.
Good.
What is it, sausage? Sometimes she's thinking when she sees the shoes, oh my God, I have to go out again.
And what I'm looking for is that she's not really that bothered. So by Kushad, obviously, oh, I think we're on mute, or you're on mute. I think you've muted yourself and turned your screen off. If you can. Oh, I just heard you again there. You're still muted.
Had to speak. Can you hear us now?
I can hear you now. I can't see you now.
Say
Yeah.
the voice.
You've muted yourself again. You're unmuted now. Just need to
Good.
put your camera back on now.
Muted.
You just keep muting yourself.
Ah, there we are.
There you are.
Yeah, it was when I was trying to put this on the stand that it was pressing all kind of buttons which it shouldn't. Maybe I should do it that way.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, I think I should be able to see. She's on the sofa. Is she?
Yeah, yeah.
We can't quite see, but we should be able to. Oh.
Oops. All those promotional
Perfect.
That's better, isn't it?
That's better.
Good.
Okay, so what I'm looking for here is that we just go about our business how we normally would. So shoes generally indicate that we're going out of the house, that we're leaving the house. So once you've both got your shoes on, just come and sit back down.
Okay.
Kushad's going to be like, why have you just made me move the
Yeah,
camera?
she's going, she's following him.
And this is the cycle that we're looking to now reduce. So she's obviously aware when shoes come out, that means that you go out somewhere. It might mean that she enjoys it. It might mean that she's thinking, oh God, not again. Don't please take.
I like it. Not again.
And what we're really tapping into is what may be causing her some interest. That's what we're going to go for. So she wasn't too bothered about when you put your shoes on, was she? But as soon as Kushad went to get his shoes, she's like, oh yeah, I'll just follow you around and see what's happening. Now, what I would like you to do, have you got any treats to hand anywhere?
Yeah. I do. Sausage's favourite. Yeah, you wanted it, didn't you? You were barking at me before. You wanted it.
And we're just going to play a tiny little game of making the treats really exciting. So we're going to look to have like 2 or 3 treats in our hands, make them nice and exciting. Noodle, what's this? What is this, Noodle? How exciting is it? Like, get right down so that you can see you've got treats. And then, and when she gets nice and excited, you're just going to throw the treats behind her.
Wasn't it? That was good, wasn't it? That was good. Good. You
They're
wanted
nice
those?
and exciting.
Since I've been cutting them. I've got those treats. Do you want those treats? Yeah.
And then throw them behind her.
Go on.
And then this time you're gonna get her excited, but when you throw that treat, I want you to just walk out of the room and then come back in. I'm just getting a rough idea of what she's like.
Both of us or just me?
Yeah, both of you.
You want it? You want all those treats? You do. Come on then, get them. Come on.
And then come back in.
That was good, wasn't it?
Well,
I don't know if you could see her, but
Noodle
Is
was
she-
just
Did she stay there, or did she? Did
Yeah.
she?
Yeah, she's still there.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to practice that a couple more times. So just so that she's starting to learn that actually, I don't need to follow you. There's no reason for me to follow you. You both got your shoes on. You both look like you're going to go out somewhere, but
Look what I have.
just a game for me.
Look, do you want it? No, I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it. Do you want your treat? Do you want your treat? Yeah, come on, go get those treats. Come on. Can we come back?
Yeah.
You're just standing here looking what's going on. You little fat sausage, you.
And it's because we've changed everything that she knows about you leaving the house. So she knows that your shoes go on. That's why she's getting excited. She knows that something's going to happen, but she doesn't know what. So this time we're going to do the same thing. But what I want you to do is walk towards the front door. Have you got? Is your door currently locked or is it unlocked?
It's closed.
It's closed. We don't lock it.
You don't lock it. Okay. Okay, so this time what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to go to the door, open the door, close it, and then come straight back in. So don't leave, just literally open the door, close the door, and come back in.
Okay. You ready? Look what I have. Oh, I have all of those trees. Look at them. Look at them. Look at all those trees. Look, look, look. Go for it. Go for it. Get it. She's still sniffing the treats. I gave her quite a few and cut them really small.
Her body language is so calm. Her body language is so relaxed. She's not even interested. She had a little bit of a when the door went, and that was it. She's not bothered. Who is more anxious? Do you think you guys are anxious, or do you think Noodle's anxious?
Yeah, it's probably more that I think, well, what would she do when she's alone? And since she does get a bit whingy, but I never tried if it would stay on for longer or not, isn't it? Usually at the first squeak, I would come back.
Okay. So that may be some of the reason why she's I mean, she's older now anyway. It's always good to actually have our dogs with us for an extended period of time. So even though obviously we're locked down and things, it's different because actually it's doing our dogs a lot of favors in many ways that they wouldn't ordinarily get. Okay, so we're going to do that again. So she's going to have treats again, and this time, how long did you stay out there for last time? Were you counting?
No, but perhaps 10-15 seconds.
Let me take a phone. I will.
I'm going to go for 20 seconds. Just count in your head, or if you want to take your phone, you can do. You count 20 seconds in your head.
You can count to 20, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I just about managed that.
I can about manage, yeah. Like this. What's this?
Count however you want it. You can use each other's hands if you want to.
What's this? What is this? Look, middle. Good. You
Tricked you.
Come on, look at all those treats. Yeah.
What?
You're hoovering the.
Yeah, you look at me like, what are you doing here?
She's a good egg. She's a really good egg. Okay. So when you guys watch this back, what she did was she just looked at the door as if to go, well, you've gone then. And then carried on sniffing around. She had a sniff up at the sofa and then She's calm. You can see her body language is really, really calm. Has she been out on a walk today?
Yeah,
Yeah, 3 times.
the last time was around 4 o'clock or so that I took her out for a...
I mean, it's not necessarily a walk. Every sort of a field trip is a bit of a walk because we don't have a garden. So she's been out 3 times.
Well, it's usually like half an hour or so that we, not really walk a lot, but she has to sniff around. She goes to the places where she needs to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Checks out the neighbors.
Had fun with Wolfie.
Okay. Yeah, it's good. Honestly.
She only wants to go to the park where Wolfie always goes. If I walk in the other direction, she won't go. So she remembers that if we go in the second walk in the morning, if we go to the tennis park, Wolfie will be there and she could do messy stuff. So this morning I wanted to go somewhere else. Now I'm not going.
Okay. And
if
was
I
that
start looking in the direction of the tennis park, she was absolutely fine.
because she knows where she's going, because something fun's going to happen at the end of the walk?
Yeah.
Okay, so by what she's shown tonight, I don't have any concerns around her being left. Okay. So she was interested when your shoes got put on. She was interested more in Kusha putting his shoes on. The reason I've got you to keep your shoes on is because sometimes if we have our shoes on in the house, it can often raise a dog with separation issues. It can raise their stress levels so that they're unable to actually cope with the situation. But she's very relaxed. She's very calm. She looks like she's probably going to fall asleep again at some point. When you're leaving her, so you can practice these techniques. So what I would say is use the food. You can use that in any room as long as you've explained it, like shown her what it is that you're going to do. So whichever room you're choosing to leave her in, make it safe. Okay, so make sure there's nothing around that she can get up onto, chew on. It's not out of their remit to chew a cushion that suddenly explodes all over your living room. So think wisely about where you want to leave it. It may be that you want to shut into the kitchen so that she's got less access. It may be that...
Yeah, she really likes the sofa, but unfortunately all around there's our computers and all the cables.
What we do overnight is we have one of those, pens, gates where you can make either a pen or whatever. But basically what we do is we block the sofa and stuff, cables where she can chew. So she has the other side of the room where her bed is. And she has the bed in the bedroom. The kitchen and the bathroom are normally then closed. So she has sort of limited access to her two favorite places.
Yeah, so it may be that when you're practicing, so doing exactly the same as what you've done, but actually get that out so that she's used to, this is what's going to happen. So it may be that you just get that out. What are you calling it? Like a barrier?
Yeah, it's one of these barriers, it's like one of these things which you can easily put in the room. And instead of locking her in, we're locking basically the sofa out, so she can't get to it.
But we stopped locking the crate quite a while back when she was still quite small, when the heat wave was. And I was really sort of thinking, I don't want to lock her in the crate and then she can't go out and drink. And she didn't really do anything at night, she just sleeps. So.
Yeah, and she seems like she's a very content dog. What I would say is just take it really slowly. So, I mean, she's done 20 seconds there, and a dog with any separation issues, you would know about them by now. So when you are leaving, it may be that you actually pretend that you're going to get ready to leave, but then don't.
Okay.
So that you've kind of worked through all that process of, getting your bag ready, putting your coat on, picking your house keys up, picking your mobile phone up, whatever your routine is. What's she doing?
She's going to bed.
She's going to make herself comfortable in her bed.
See, Noodle, you're making my life hard here because you don't want to train with me.
The dog. She would run down the corridor. That's one of her favorite things. Throw anything down the corridor. She would run up and down.
After it.
She would go after it. Sometimes she brings it. Sometimes she doesn't. She wants to throw it something else. So, she would run outside the park. But when she's nothing better to do, I'm just going to bed.
And that's a really good trait to have, though, because it means that she's able to settle herself and she's happy settling herself as well.
Give her a cardboard box and you don't know about it.
What, sorry?
Cardboard box, Amazon boxes, she loves shredding it.
Good.
That's her only interest in the door, because usually when the doorbell goes, it's the Amazon man bringing something. And, you know, although it's not always for her, the boxes are usually end up being for her.
And again, I mean, there's you know, if you teach her, then you can get her to put her head in the box and get some treats out of the box, or retrieve a toy from the box, so that she doesn't necessarily just shred it. I mean, there's no harm with her shredding it if you're happy with her doing that. Then obviously.
Well, I don't know. She eats the paper sometimes, so.
Yeah. So maybe that it's a little bit more controlled with her. So here's the box, but here's a treat. Here's a treat on the edge of the box. So she starts to learn and form that association that she can have the box, but actually the box is for searching for some treats in, not just shredding it. Yeah. Okay, so with this separation stuff, so look at your routine. So look at in a normal world, so when we kind of start going back to work and we're leaving the house a bit more, what is your routine going to look like? So I would suggest that you both write that down independently of each other. So your routine is likely to be slightly different to Kushad's routine. So it may be that your alarm goes off on your phone. So your alarm goes off on your phone and then you hit snooze, I don't know, 5 times. Or it might be that you don't set an alarm, you just get straight up. It may be that the first thing you do is go and take the dog out, or the first thing you do is go and brush your teeth, whatever it is. So literally write down sort of step by step what your routine is. And then periodically throughout the day, play your alarm. So have your alarm on your phone or whatever your alarm is, play that, and then start your routine. So put your coat on, put your shoes on, pick your bag up, put whatever it is, your keys into your bag, and just leave the house. Close the door, and then build up your time that way. Okay, what you're always looking for is that Noodle is calm, she's relaxed, she's not tense, she's not whining, she's not looking around for you, she's just as she is pretty much now. Okay, so she's nice and relaxed, and you can just stand up, you can just stand outside the door to start with, and then you can start building up, leaving her a bit further. So walking from your front door to, I don't know, the stairs, the lift, whichever it is, it may be that you just walk that distance. So that's going to add you a little bit of time on there. And what you can do is you can leave something inside to have a camera on her, so you can see what she's actually doing. So if there's at any point, so we're not looking for her to start squeaking and whining and crying, we're looking to get her before that point. Okay, so it is difficult with Noodle because I don't think that she's going to have an issue being left. So you could be waiting outside for a long time before there's any signs of stress. So it's always best to come back in before those signs are actually present. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're not waiting for her to start getting upset. We're going to return before that happens. And what we're doing is each time that you're throwing the treats into the room and then you're leaving, what you're saying is, you get treats, but I go away. So it's similar to what I was saying about with one of you leaving her outside the supermarket. So you're actually giving her something to do. You're actually giving her something to just have a sniff about for, and actually that's going to help with calming her down. So does that all make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I can really imagine her if we throw some treats that she, the moment we go away, she has something to do. And then after that, I'm pretty confident actually that she then thinks, oh, well, nothing better to do. I'm going to have a chew and lay on the bed and maybe fall asleep or something.
I've got some peace and quiet. I've got some peace and quiet. I'm going to go and lay down.
Yeah.
I think
I can't normally when they're watching me.
I think
that
based on how she's been like in that training session there, I think that I don't think you'll have an issue with her at all. I see dogs that are extremely anxious and extremely upset about their owners even taking steps away from them. So yeah, as soon as you can see that she's nice and happy, she's like, oh yeah, this is a great game. When are you next going? But you can literally use everything and anything for that. So you can use like her bed.
Maybe the sniffing mat and put some treats into the sniffing mat.
Yeah.
If she will play, I don't know. She may just toss it again, but I haven't played with that for a while because if I fail to feed the purpose, just toss it around and not sniff for anything, isn't it?
And what I would always look at is that when it is you are getting to that point where you are going to be going back to work, when like practice this from now, practice like leaving her for a few minutes per day, even if you're just literally standing out in the corridor, but try and be quiet because she'll be able to hear you talking if you're out there.
Oh
Okay, so
yeah. I mean, she is very good. We live on the first floor, and when one of us is out, you know, I think before one of us opens the door of the building, she already knows who's coming, especially if you've got a shopping trolley with you, because then she hears the trolley.
She's heard, yeah.
But she knows long before I know that Veronica's in the building and coming up, because then she moves towards the front door and, you know, gets excited that she's coming back.
Yeah, and that's perfectly normal. So if a dog isn't greeting you at the front door, I'd wonder what on earth has happened to your dog for it to not want to greet you. But what I would say is that when you do try and leave her, so always set her up to succeed. And what I mean by that is, if she's been out on a walk in the morning and it's been an exciting walk and she's quite excited and she's got a bit of energy, then play a really calming game with her. So if she's been out for, say, I'll use like a typical walk. So if she's been out for 30 minutes, when you come back, look to spend between 10 to 15 minutes playing with her. So playing some calming games, playing some, you know, doing some middle with her, doing some walking around the cones, whatever it is that you want to do with her, so she's got some interaction with you. And then spend between 5 to 10 minutes on a calming game. So a snuffle mat, putting food around the floor so she has to sniff it, something that's going to really, really reduce her excitement level right down. So what we're looking for is a dog that is content, a dog that isn't bored, and a dog that is all their needs have been met before they're being left. Because if we try and leave a dog that's just come back from a walk, that's enjoyed all the sniffing, then it may be that she's a bit too excited to be left on her own, and that's where you may see some problems. Or a dog that's bored. If she's bored, I mean, I don't think for a minute she's bored. I think she just really enjoys her bed. I think she enjoys she's just
It's quite funny you said when you come back from walk, because we come back from walk and you don't even have a chance to take her coat off, and she's first chasing her toys and wants to play immediately.
Yeah. And often what happens is, because it gets them so excited when they go out on a walk, because there's so many different smells and different sights, and it's exciting. So when they come back, they have that burst of energy. I don't know if like you've ever done any training for anything in terms of like exercise wise, but if you've ever been to the gym or anything like that, and then you try and go to sleep straight after the gym, you can't do it because your body's kind of like pumped up. And that's the key thing with having you. So you go for your walk, you have your 10 to 15 minutes, and then you have your 5 to 10 minutes. So it may be that if you can't fit all that in, you have a shorter walk, and then you do the 10 to 15 and then the 5 to 10. Okay, so it's not masses amounts of things. I can send you over. I've got a document which it talks you through like 25 steps of separation, but I'm not convinced that you will need it, to be honest. And it's about getting her to settle. So we did briefly we did settling to a mat, didn't we?
I don't think we did.
We did on week 2.
I don't think we did.
Did we not? Okay.
She always fall asleep on her own.
I was going to say maybe because she knows where the mat is already. Okay, so it's about directing to a place to settle. So this is one way you can use it to your advantage, because it's the place that you want her to stay when you're going out. And what you can do is basically build her up to the point that when the mat comes out, whether that's in the house or out the house, you can then start moving away from her. So you're basically asking her for a wait or a stay in a position, in a place, and then you go out and then come back again. Okay, and there's 25 steps, and what I would say is don't go through them all in one session, otherwise you'll just be poor Noodle will have Noodle for brains.
Yeah.
But yeah, just take your time working through it. From what she's demonstrated today, though, I wouldn't envisage that you would have an issue. I think if anything, is she may get mischievous, and that's why I was speaking about cordoning off, barriering off particular areas. But yeah, I think she'll be fine. I think I've got probably more confidence in her than what you guys have about Elaine.
That's nice to hear. Yeah, it's probably us who's more anxious than the dog.
But it's good to if you have something where she could settle,
Yeah.
because if there is like a mat or a blanket which we could use, then also when we take her to the office,
Yeah.
she can settle there on it.
Yeah.
Because she does get quite excited. I don't think I can take her every day to the office, but
Now and then.
she likes now and then to come to the office.
Yeah.
And if there is anybody of my colleagues in the office, she's of course, everybody's wild about her. But at some point, it would be nice if she would settle and,
Yeah.
calms
Yes.
down.
So it's really, really nice and easy. So actually settling to a mat is about like presenting the mat and then giving her a reward, presenting the mat again, giving her a reward, present the mat again, give her a reward. And then the mat goes on the floor, and any interaction with the mat, then she gets a reward. But it's really important that the reward comes from the mat, not from your hand. So you're building up the mat really nice and slowly. I'll send you over, I've got a video. There's the video and there's a document that goes with it as well. So I'll send them over to you.
Okay,
So
cool.
you've got them. How has that been for a session for you? How was that?
Yeah, it's very useful, to, I think it's more giving us the confidence to leave her alone than to leave her actually alone. But it's really quite useful to hear a bit what to do, and also with feeding some ideas of how we could approach it, because I'm not that worried about it. I think Veronica's more worried that she will not eat enough, whereas I think when I go out and she still produces poo, I think it should be fine. She gets enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you can poo, you're probably fine with eating. You're not like starving. But
and there is always that element as well. And it's not like she's not like she's really tiny and skinny.
No.
She's a decent size. You can see that she's a nice sized dog. Yeah, she's a nice size. And you know what's going in. So
yeah.
I think there is always some element of, and ultimately she's going to be coming up to get into a season soon. So if she does go off of food, that's also perfectly normal as well. So when she comes to that point, she might be in a bit of pain. So she might just think, oh, I don't want it. I don't want any food. I don't want anything. Just leave me alone. So she may kind of be coming up to that kind of age, around about sort of 9 months usually.
I think something non-training related when you're talking about the season. I've read somewhere people give them like pants to wear, and some people just say, just leave her to clean herself. She doesn't like any clothes, so I don't think giving her little pants to wear will be an option.
So I'm very much of the opinion that let nature take its course. To start with, in her first season, she will have no idea what's happening. So you kind of have to like show her to clean herself.
Yeah.
Even if you just say, "What's that?" That's what we did with Chirp. We just said, "What's that?" and then just kind of get them to clean themselves. And as soon as they kind of pick up on, oh, actually, this is happening. This is me. Then they're pretty good with it. Obviously, be mindful of like your own clothes and bedding and stuff like that. So it might be that you just lay like a couple of old towels across your sofa, just so that if there is any, I mean, they're tiny dogs. They're tiny dogs. You're not talking like huge amounts. And it's not constant, but it can go on for 3 weeks.
God. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, and during that time, you may find that you want to kind of stay a little bit away from Wolfie.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I'm sure she
little teenager.
Yes,
what you often find is that, and it's quite interesting to watch, and like if you don't know about it, then you'll soon see it. So to start with, they're like very much like, get away from me, do not come near me, world, leave me alone. And then towards the end, when they're kind of really ready to kind of reproduce, should we say, that they're literally like, hey boys, come and get me. Like tails out of the way, whereas to start with, the tail's very much tucked, and it's very much like, you leave me alone, you do not come near me, and then literally like, come and get me kind of thing. And literally a tail will literally move to one side, and she'll be like, come on then, So just be mindful that obviously with unneutered males that,
we
that
were
things
joking
happen.
about it with Wolfie's mum that we need to watch them.
And it's that thing that, you know, it doesn't take a lot for them to figure out what they need to do, but also other dogs as well. So kind of that safety stuff around when she is in season, so keeping her on lead or on a long line so that she can't just run off, because she will get that urge that she wants to go and reproduce. Likewise, any males that are around your area, so within like a 3 to 4 mile radius,
This is
Probably about 100, but yeah.
we'll be able to smell that she's in season. Okay, so pick your times of walking. Very be clever about what time you're walking.
Mr. G try to chase her. This is a huge dog who absolutely loves her. He's about to my waist, huge. I don't know what breed it is, but he's huge.
Wow.
And he absolutely loves her and she loves him. And they sort of sniff each other so gently. I mean, he's like a gentle giant, and she chases him around the park. Imagine him. Oh.
Yeah, and it's just that thing of like, think about when there are other people at the park. Does she need to go to the park? Can she stay on a street walk? And just be really sensible about where you're taking her, what time you're taking her, because it's obviously frustrating for the male dogs as well that there's a female that they're going to try and get to. So often other owners can have unwanted behavior, kind of like almost verging on kind of aggressive when they're trying to get away from the owner to get to the dog. So yeah, just be mindful of that. But yeah, as far as pants go, don't worry about them.
Yeah, I didn't think that would be a good idea.
They're a bit gross as well.
I ask.
Yeah, they're a bit gross, and they can cause some infections that they don't need to. Keep an eye on her.
That's what I kind of thought that I would probably do, but that's good to hear. That's the right thing.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. It doesn't last that long, and then it's gone before you know it. But yeah, okay. So any other questions before we go?
No, I think that's okay.
No, I think what we really should try for the next
few
till
days
next time, see how it goes when we leave her alone.
Yeah.
I'm quite curious about it.
Yeah. We'll set up all the cameras. We'll go all 3.
Yeah, just make it really nice and easy. So what I would say is, so if this is a phone that you're on now, just take your phone with you. So you could either use Zoom, or you could just use like a WhatsApp.
WhatsApp or Google work.
Yeah,
we got like a security camera hanging anyway in the room.
Anyway, 2 or 3 or whatever.
Yeah, so one of the, so that you can see inside, so what she's doing, and you can see that from you being outside. So when you play this video back, you'll see exactly what she did, and she's not bothered. She's not bothered. That's not to say that first thing in the morning she wouldn't be bothered, but you know, she's had a walk, she's had her allowances and stuff. But what I'll do then, so I'll send over this video. I will send over the other video for settling to a mat. So it is, I have got a clicker, but you don't have to use the clicker. Okay, so all the clicker is in replacement for is the marker word. So marking good when she's sniffing, good when she's getting on the mat. And then you can add your cue word, which will be something like on your mat or settle, whichever it is that you want to go for, and then work up from that point. And then I'll send over the PDF with the 25 steps on. And that is really to create some distance. So it may be that you ask her to go to a mat, she gets a reward, and then you start moving away from her, moving around her, and then you can use that mat. And then in the next session, what we can go through is getting her to settle to a mat when you're in different places as well.
Okay,
happy with that?
Excellent.
Cool. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing you next time then. Any questions in between, feel free to send them, and feel free to send any videos over or photos.
If the cameraman doesn't fail again.
Cameraman.
I'll do my best. I think we got some video of her pulling the trolley, which is quite funny.
Do. That's quite funny. I'll
send it over. Okay, enjoy your evening.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.